Hello, everybody. Welcome to the MTG Place podcast, your place for all things magic. With me today is Josh. How's it going, Josh?
What's up, everybody? Going well?
Before we jump into the main topic here, this show is sponsored by you using the Patreon. You got a bunch of different cool tiers you can check out. Patreon.com/MTGplace. Also, you can support us by using our TCG Player affiliate link to pick up any of the cards we're going to talk about today, because today we're talking AetherDrift.
Let's go. AetherDrift's right around the corner. Drifting around the corner. It's cars. Today we'll be talking about like the white rares of this set, where we find it within the Magic ecosystem, where all things Magic, all formats. We might talk about the commons and uncommons if we get to that point, but mostly we're going to focus on those rares. The cool, new, shiny stuff.
Things yeah, and we're not going to talk about reprints either. It's just going to be the new cards.
Yep. All right. You want to start us off, or?
Sure. So the first one we got here is Basri, Tomorrow's Champion. It is 1 white for a 2/1 legendary creature, human knight. It has pay a white, tap, exert it, create a 1/1 white cat creature token with lifelink. It also has cycling for 2 and a white. You could discard this to draw this card. And when you cycle this card, cats you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn.
Yeah, that's a lot to unpack there. Ocelot Pride, anybody? This time you do have to tap them. It's not like you just get free value every single turn.
Mm-hmm.
And exerting him is kind of a lot, but hey, 1 mana, 2/1.
I mean, it just doesn't untap on your next untap stuff. Is there ways to untap it in white? Just keep doing it.
Yeah, that's true. And it's like you want to be aggro, and when you can't be aggro anymore, like just start making dudes.
I'm trying to think. So, like, how good is this as a commander, right? Like, the cycling's basically non-existent at that point, unless you use that land that puts it in your hand.
For a commander?
Yeah.
Oh, him as a commander, yeah.
Yeah, him as a commander. The cycling's basically useless.
Yeah. You would want to have untappers for sure.
Would you put it in the 99 of like any other cat stacks, like a Rabo?
Oh, yeah. Just the cycling to give hexproof and indestructible, uncounterable too, is going to be really, really good.
Yeah, they basically have to have stifle.
Yeah. In the 99, this is going to be really good for a commander deck. You don't want to be mono white in commander. It could be okay. I mean, if you want to be that, but go for it. I think in standard, this could be pretty good. I know there's foundations. There's been a bunch of cats, and like Claws Out is a board pumper. And I don't know, maybe a cat deck could be there. Like, this is very aggressive. 1 mana, 2/1. They've been printing a lot of these, and they're normally pretty good.
Yep.
Like I said, you can be aggressive when you want to be, and then when you don't, you just tap them, make some cats. Lifelink's pretty good too.
Yeah, it seems pretty good.
I mean, he's back, but Basri was in a Monkette. I think we had like 1 planeswalker of him. He must have lost his spark.
Yeah, almost everybody did when the
right. Yeah.
I mean, isn't that what they're racing for? Is the Aether Spark right now?
The Aether Spark. Yep, that's the coveted thing where you could basically be a planeswalker.
Yeah, so
that makes sense.
Gives you your spark back, basically.
Yeah, I don't think it gives you your spark back, but you can use it just like a planeswalker can use there. Spoiler alert: he wins. So this is the winner of the whole race. He gets the Aether Spark, so we'll see where the story goes from there. But yeah, it seems like a really good in the 99, or I can see a cat deck coming up in standard. Probably no legacy or anything. I mean, you got, like I said, Ocelot Pride or something more broken things than this. But
I mean, if you're playing like modern, well, even standard, right? You could go like White Weenie might benefit from this and Ocelot Pride both.
Ocelot Pride is not in standard. It's too OP.
Okay, so modern, yeah.
Okay, having both of them side by side. Okay,
like if you wanted to go aggressive aggro white, I don't
Yeah.
know if that's going to be a deck or not, but who knows? Maybe you could try it.
I could see a standard cat deck wanting 4 copies. But I don't know. I don't play Modern, so. Move on to the Bulwark Ox. 1 and a white for a 2/2 Ox Mount. So whenever this creature attacks while it's saddled, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So it could be anything. Saddle is 1. And then you can sacrifice this creature. Creatures you control with counters on them gain hexproof and indestructible till end of turn. The counters part is, I mean, that ability is really, really strong, but you need counters on it. Fits into the counters commander decks. I could see this being a commander card for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's decent because it's a 2-drop and it can put counters on stuff. And then it has the buyout of whatever all the other things are that do that, where you could sack it and protect stuff. Like, it's just better than the other 2-mana white guy that does that, right? Or the 1-mana one, whatever it is.
The 2-mana one just it gives you hexproof and or just gives you indestructible, selfless spirit, but you don't need counters on the people you're giving indestructible.
Yeah, and then there's like a green-white one that costs 1 green, 1 white, I think. Was it Safi or something?
Safi returns a creature from the graveyard.
Okay, so it's if your thing dies, it brings it back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just more protection stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's too much to set up in like a 60 card format or
right. Yeah, I mean in Commander maybe. I don't know if I'm playing this 60.
Yeah, or I wouldn't see it in Cube. It's way too slow. Like this would be a Commander only card. I'm feeling. You need to be really heavy into the +1/+1 counters, and a place that goes really heavy into a certain strategy as Commander is always where you do that. So, and there's a lot of board wipes or people trying to destroy like your Commander per se. So the being able to get hexproof and indestructible is pretty important there. Like you want to have your commander, you'll always have a creature, right? Is your commander. Then this can put that +1/+1 counter on your commander, and now you can save your commander whenever you want. There's been a lot of people or a lot of cards that already have like your commanders gain hexproof when it's out or like stuff. So I don't know. You really need to be in the +1/+1 counters.
I mean, the other thing is you can also, like, you could saddle this, right? Attack, put the 1/1 counter on something, and then if they block this, you just sack it.
Yeah.
Stuff gets hexproof and destructible till end of turn. I don't know. It's
and then you board wipe yourself.
Right? Like it's just weird.
Yeah, I don't think this it's too the +1/+1 counter part too is not like, oh, I'm trying to buff something in Commander. This is more of like, oh, this is going to be safe. This is going to be safe.
I mean, this is going to be bonkers and limited, but
yeah, limited that does grow. I could see that. We should be talking about limited too. Usually the rares are just going to be pretty bonkers anyway, but
yeah, I mean,
this will grow.
This will keep growing. Yeah,
yeah. Get snowball way out of hand quickly. Okay.
Next up, we got the Guardian Sunmare. It is 3 white for a creature horse mount. It's a 5/5 with Ward 2. And whenever this creature attacks while saddled, search your library for a non-land permanent card with mana value 3 or less and put it on the battlefield and shuffle. And the saddle cost is expensive. It's 4.
Dang.
So you're paying 4 power of creatures tap to get something 3 or less into play. On a 5-mana 5/5.
I could see this being in Commander. I don't see it anywhere else. But
I don't even know if I want to play it there. Like it's 5-mana 5/5. Like
you really need something that like really goes hand in hand, or you want like a combo piece.
Yeah, like you really want something that like you want to tap with the saddle. Like
if your commander has 4 power, nice. And then if you're a Necropotence deck and really want Necropotence, like, that could be good, but it is already 5 mana and you got to wait a whole turn and you got to make sure you got your saddle going. It's really slow.
It's a lot of hoops to jump through for a non-land permanent 3 or less.
Well, it could be Ristic Study. That's probably too slow at that
Yeah,
time.
but at that point you're
Necropotence.
playing blue and white, like, and then you got to pay double white for a 5 mana
Yeah.
card.
Yeah. Um, Necropotence. I'm just going to say that. I mean, it's okay, but yeah, it's really slow. This is probably going to be pretty poopy.
I don't think it's gonna be that great.
Yeah, probably really bad. Okay. Next up, we got Perilous Snare. 2 and a white for an artifact has start your engines. We haven't explained start your engines. This is the new, what do we call it? The new
Mechanic.
mechanic. There we go. I was going to say ability. If you have no speed, it starts at 1 and then increases once of each of your turns when an opponent loses life. Max speed is 4. So you play a card that has start your engines, you automatically start at 1. If you can hit your opponent, it goes to 2 that turn. Normally, I don't know. Hopefully, you could do it that turn. Some are 1 drops. But once you get max speed, you get these abilities. But first, when this artifact enters, exile target non-land permanent opponent controls until this artifact leaves the battlefield. But then max speed, you can tap the artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or vehicle you control. Activate only as a sorcery because they don't want it to be a combat trick. So this is
So it's basically just
Oblivion Ring.
a better O ring. Like it's an O ring that can do something later.
We don't. O-Ring's already so far out of our Magic history that like is
I mean,
O-Ring
people
even
still
that
play
good?
O ring.
I've not seen an O-Ring in so long. It's
I
Leyline
mean, if you're
Binding
like
now.
enchantments or mono white, maybe you play it, but
With O-Ring, it has that weird separate clause where like you need to be doing the fun stuff where you sacrifice it or like destroy your own O-Ring on the ETB that it has, so then it stays exiled forever. You've seen that weird stuff. Banisher Priest is another one of those. This so this is like if you're in Start Your Engines deck, this could be an O-Ring, which could be okay. We right now like we're still in spoiler season, or we just ended that.
I
The
mean,
set's not out.
it's gonna take you at least 3 turns to get to 4 speed at the minimum.
Yeah, at the minimum.
So it's like, is a turn 6 put a 1/1 counter on something good at an O ring?
Right.
If you play this on 3, or if you already have
If
max
you're in the
speed, then it's
Start
good.
Engines, if
Yeah,
you're in that deck, you're going to have the 1 drop that says Start Your Engines.
right.
Like this whole
So
mechanic
like, I mean, obviously it's
is
good and limited, but like, is it good outside of that? I don't think so. Unless like your whole deck is about to start your engines, but is there even enough cards to build a commander deck at this point?
commander deck. No,
So
that's like when energy first started. It's like you can't build a energy deck. Now there's like, I don't know, 3 energy commander decks in a row.
yeah,
So if it's a cool mechanic, people like it. I'm sure they'll make more commander decks out of it, but definitely this is out of the
so
commander
like
range.
this is like constructed maybe
This
if you're
is
playing a whole deck of this start your
right,
engines thing.
right. Is
I
there
don't
a
know. I still
standard
don't
deck?
think it's that great. Like it's still like, to me it's a common. Like it's O ring with
Yeah,
upside.
yeah,
Like
right. Exactly,
I don't think it
exactly.
should be a rare slot.
No, especially being an artifact is even easier to destroy than a enchantment. Like everybody can destroy artifacts, but we're still a little early. I'm going to say I don't know. We don't know about Start Your Engines yet. We do think it's going to be too slow, but we don't know yet.
I mean, unless the format's slow, because I mean, like the ring tempsu thing was really
Mm,
good,
yeah.
but you could trigger that more than once in a turn if you had a bunch of cards. That's the only
Mhm.
downside to this. So
That's the rare is probably just for limited for draft. Like it's probably going to be pretty easy to draft to Start Your Engines deck. I'm sure there's tons of commons and uncommons that have that
mhm.
mechanic. And so then this, same with what we were saying with the Bulwark Ox, like if you can get there, it's just going to snowball and they won't have the artifact removal easily. There'll be some, but that's probably just balanced for limited, which is going to be hurtful when you open this up in a pack.
Yep. Next up, we got Salvation Engine, which is 4 and a white for a 6/10 artifact vehicle. Other artifact creatures, all artifact creatures, it's not the vehicles, get +2/+2.
Huge.
Whenever this vehicle attacks, return up to one target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and its crew is 6.
It's a 6/10 as well. I don't know if you said that.
Yeah, I said that.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably good in a white artifact deck.
So we've seen some of the spoilers. We're not going over commenting on comments yet, but there's Affinity is back. Affinity for artifacts is back. And so, like, even just thinking if you had 2 Thopters, the artifact creatures get +2/+2. 2 Thopters, that's already crew 6. Right. So then you can crew it up, attack, and return stuff from your graveyard straight to the battlefield. If you have any self-mill, if we have come back to it, but Valor's flagship in your graveyard after you cycled it, that would be pretty insane.
Yeah.
So I think this is a really strong. It is a mythic.
It's a pretty good. I mean, and the artifact deck that already exists is blue-white, so you could put this in there, or the vehicle deck. I mean, so you could put this in there.
Mm-hmm.
So the one that makes all the pilots.
Yeah. Shirokai is a thing. So limited, it's a bomb. I could see a constructed deck coming up and you want at least 1, maybe 2 copies of this. It is high drop, but like just as a finisher and ender, just to really close out games.
Yeah, but then you could just play Cats Out. Or Claws Out, or whatever it is.
Claws Out, if you're in the Cats deck, I mean, you don't need to be Cats. That just gives +2/+1 to everything. Costs less if you have Cats. I don't know. I think the Affinity is definitely going to be something to try out. I have high hopes for it. I'm excited for Infinity for Artifacts is back. So I don't know. It looks sweet.
It does look cool. I mean, we'll see what happens. It obviously has the potential to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Commander, I think it's going to be good, because Commander is a slow enough format.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you can get some ridiculous bomb artifacts in your graveyard.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you have like the portal or something.
Mm-hmm.
You put the portal in your graveyard and then you bring it back, and it's like, oh, everybody sacked 3 things. That's not me.
Does this work with Mindslaver then? Probably, right? This is a Mindslaver thing.
Yeah, it does work with Mindslaver.
Ick. You sacrifice Mindslaver, take over their turn. Next turn, you return it back to your battlefield.
Yeah, as long as you have enough stuff to crew it.
Yeah. You just need 2 Thopters. You just need 2 Thopters, and you're good to go. Speaking of combos, we can do our little segment here halfway through. I'll have a jank combo for you. We're going to talk about the Aether Spark already. I'm going to have to say the full card, but 4 mana, 4 loyalty for legendary artifact planeswalker equipment.
Yep.
As long as the Aether Spark is attached to a creature, the Aether Spark can't be attacked and has, whenever equipped creature deals combat damage during your turn, put that many loyalty counters on Aether Spark. Important part about that is just combat damage, not combat damage to a player. This is like Jite in a way, Umezawa Jite. You can plus up the equipment planeswalker, attach Aether Spark to one of your creatures, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. You can -5 it to draw 2 cards, or you can -10 for its ultimate, add 10 mana of any one color. So you put it on your creature attacks, you get that many loyalty counters. What we want is at least a one with 10 attack. If you have somebody with 10 attack on there, right, you're going to do combat damage, you're going to get 10. You're going to be able to ultimate right away. So if you're able to do that, we combo it with Aggravated Assault. Classic combo card. 2 in a red, enchantment. You pay 3 red, untap all creatures you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase, followed by additional main phase. Play this anytime you can play sorcery. But you hit for 10, you -10, you get 10 mana. You use 5 of that for aggravated assault, untap, attack again, and do that over and over. Keep on attacking. As long as you can get the Aether Spark up to 10 loyalty, you'll be good to go.
It's ridiculous.
Heck yeah.
All right, my crazy card this week is, I don't even know how to pronounce this, but Shinafukujin Dragon.
Yes.
6 red for a 0/0 dragon. When it comes into play, you put 7 1/1 counters on it, and then you can pay red, sacrifice 2 1/1 counters, put 3 1/1 counters on it at the end of turn. Activate this only as a sorcery.
Yeah. Probably most people haven't heard of this. This is only a 1 out of 1 card where they
Yeah, it's
give
a
out
World
cards to
Championship
like
card.
championship people. So what a crazy card though. I bet this is so expensive for the person who actually owns this. If somebody wants this card, if you would ever sell it, it'd
Yeah,
be
I mean
crazy.
the one, what is it, the World Championship 96? That's like the
Okay.
most popular one, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they said the guy has it insured at like $3 million or something, and keeps it in a vault. Like,
This card would be crazy too. Is if you have infinite mana, you can grow infinitely. So that's insane.
Well, they don't go on until the end step, so you can only grow it. 3 times a turn. You can activate this for the first turn.
At end of turn. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Old cards, man. They are crazy.
Yep.
All right, back to our normal segment. We're on to Skyseer's Chariot. 1 in a white for a flying vehicle artifact, 3/3. Has crew 2. And as this vehicle enters, choose a non-land card name. Activated abilities of sources with the chosen name cost 2 more to activate.
Crew 2.
Crew 2, yep.
So it's O-ray, or it's a pithing needle.
Yeah. How I can't think of any activated abilities. Would that hit planeswalkers? That doesn't hit planeswalkers, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It does?
Pithing
Okay.
needle does.
Yeah. That makes
But
sense.
I mean, 2
They're
more, like
activated
whatever.
abilities.
I mean, yeah, I guess if you hit a planeswalker, they got to pay 2 mana to activate their ability.
That could be okay. Like standard, there's Kaido being big.
Yeah.
It's universal, so like I'm thinking in Commander, like if you say Soul Ring, then your Soul Ring
Yeah.
would be out too. Because it does say activated abilities. It doesn't say non-mana abilities.
Right.
Isn't that normally a clause that they try to not do?
Usually, yeah. But it's just paying 2 more mana, so they're like, whatever, probably.
Yeah. I don't know. Smug Copter's a thing. That's 2 mana, 3/3. Crew 1, I believe.
Is crew technically an activated ability? Like, could you just name any of their vehicles? I got to pay 2 mana on top of it.
That's
pretty funny.
Yeah. It's got to be, right? Crew's got to be an activated ability. There's no colon, though, which is interesting. But I
think there is in the reminder text.
Yeah. Oh, cat. No.
I don't know. This seems okay. I don't think it's super great. It'd be way better if it had flash.
Yeah.
Because you have to play it on your turn, name something, and you're going to name something that's already in play. And like at that point, I'd still rather just have Pithing Needle because it would completely shut it off then.
Yeah, for like commander purposes.
Like I don't really care about having a 3/3 flyer. Like
in commander purposes, I've 100%. Yeah, I agree. But a 2 mana 3/3 flyer, is pretty intense. Like that can be a lot of damage. So
yeah.
I could see it in standard or like limited. It would definitely be good. But I don't know. Tough to just.
But how good is a 2 mana 3/3 flyer when you got to tap a 2/2? Like to attack with it or block with it. I don't know. It's like okay.
It's true. If it can hit the vehicles, though, the crew costing 2 for each creature, that would be hilarious. That could make it really good then.
Yeah, but I mean, you just choose one card. So, like, if they had multiple of that card, then yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, probably not good.
Next up, we have Spectacular Pile Up. It is 3 white white for a sorcery. All creatures and vehicles lose indestructible until end of turn. Then destroy all creatures and vehicles.
It's got cycling.
And cycling for 2.
A board wipe with cycling?
It's pretty good. And it destroys indestructible stuff.
Yeah, that seems really good, especially for Commander.
Yeah.
Like, this is great in Commander. Sometimes you just don't need the
I mean,
board wipe.
sometimes, like, when you wrath, you're like, oh, great, I can't kill their indestructible thing. Well,
Yeah.
this gets around that.
Yeah.
And if you're at the point where you're way winning, you just cycle it off.
Exactly. Yeah. This seems really, really good.
I actually think this is a good board wipe.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see this a lot, actually. Especially
Yeah.
Commander.
In Standard, there's Sunfall, which Exile's been a huge thing recently for graveyard recursion stuff. Exiling's great. And Sunfall, you make a dude.
Yeah.
What else? What the big board wipe in Commander is Farewell, that also exiles, and you could
that costs 6 though.
It costs 6, which isn't that big in Commander, like.
Right.
But the cycling is where this gets way better than anything. So we'll see how. I mean, being versatile is very important. So I don't know. This could be an all-star here.
I mean, I would almost rather play this over Wrath of God. Like the 1 mana, just have the cycling Wrath.
Yeah, exactly.
Buyout
where the 1 mana doesn't go.
Like a Day of Judgment. Like,
yeah, this is going to replace those. I don't know in like Cube though. Like the 1 mana in Vintage Cube is huge,
right?
Because you need to be fast in that sort of format. But for Commander, this does seem insane. We'll see in Standard or any 60 cards. The cycling's huge. I'm not going to say that, but does it beat?
Well, imagine you have that other guy out too. That's like when you cycle a card, you put it back in your hand or something when you discard. It's like an artifact dude, right? It's like whenever you discard a card, you can either you could cast it or you can put it back in your hand, something like that.
Oh, from Kamigawa?
Yeah.
Yeah, that 3 mana thing.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a round. I'm not sure exactly how the wording is, but yeah.
I mean, plus there's a cycling Commander deck you could put this in.
Oh, yeah. For those specific cycling, for 100%, yeah. This is going to be way better, but like, does it beat Sunfall in Standard? Does it beat Farewell in Commander?
I don't think it beats Sunfall. But
being versatile is great, but I guess from my experience, everybody just wants to cast Sunfall as soon as they draw it. So I don't know if you need the cycling because you're just going to want to do it already. But for Commander purposes, this is definitely replacing your Wrath of Gods if you're still running Wrath of Gods.
Yep.
All right. We'll move on to Valor's Flagship. Here we go. Mythic. 4 white for 7 mana, 7/7 legendary artifact vehicle. It's got flying, first strike, and lifelink. It's got crew 3. So that's a game ender, or can really switch the tides. Crew 3 seems pretty low. But it's got cycling, X, 2 and a white. When you cycle this card, create X 1/1 colorless pilot creature tokens. They have, when this token saddles mounts or cruise vehicles, it's those power word 2 or greater, so it can crew anything. This seems pretty insane. It is 7 mana though.
Well, I think the power of this card comes from the cycling.
Yes. It's the Decree of Justice. Was that the old card that had the cycling make dudes?
Yeah. Like it's going to be like you cycle this, like so for the same amount of mana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cycle this, make 4 dudes, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and as though its power were 2 greater. So then you play that other card that gives all vehicles +2/+2. One of these tokens is going to crew that, and then you're going to attack and bring this 7/7 flying first strike lifelink into play.
Yeah, the Salvation Engine. There
Yeah,
we
can
go.
you imagine opening both of these in draft?
Oh, in draft, that
Just
would be
be
insane.
insane.
This is already like a constructed deck. This could
Yeah,
be a standard deck for sure.
seems pretty cool.
Yeah, the 7 attack lifelink fly is already so swingy. You know when you have a Gristle brand out and
Yeah.
how swingy that can be. That's pretty insane. And you're going to have multiple copies in standard deck or wherever you're playing this.
Yep.
So that seems like a really good deck so far. I don't know about like Vintage Cube. Probably won't make it at all. Like you need the
I
multiple.
mean, tinkering
copies.
this isn't terrible.
No, yeah, the crew
But,
3 is really low, surprisingly low.
Well, it's because they figured out that crew more than 3 kind of sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless you have these like pilot tokens or buff the creatures in some way. Like, I like this card. I think it's gonna be sweet. I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking now maybe standard. We're gonna try some sort of weird vehicle deck where we bring this back with that other engine.
Salvation Engine for sure.
Now I just need to find a way to make Thopters in white.
Yes. I love it. It's a strong one.
All right. Next up, we got Voyager Glide Car. 1 white for a 2/3 artifact vehicle. When this vehicle enters, you scry 1. You could tap 3 other untapped creatures you control until end of turn. This vehicle becomes an artifact creature and gains flying. Put a +1/+1 counter on it, and its crew is only 1.
For a 1-drop?
So it's a 1-drop, 2/3, scry 1. You got to crew it to make it a vehicle. But if you have 3 other things, you just tap them, make this a 3/4 flyer for a turn. Like what? For a 1-drop?
Yeah, you need 3 other, and they have to be creatures.
Yeah, but that's still like.
Yeah. The main thing is, I think the play pattern is play this on 1, and then next turn you play a creature, anyone, and then you crew it. You can attack for 2/3.
Yeah.
And then later on, he can gain that flying and start growing.
Yeah, especially when they have blockers. That'll be nice because you can get over them.
Mm-hmm. The Enter Scry one.
I like it.
Yeah, so with this vehicle deck, though, we need to find Thopters would be the best, or you need creatures too, besides just vehicles. If you just play vehicles, they can't crew themselves. So that's going to be an interesting battle or balance that you're trying to do. I wonder.
I mean, you could just put this in the existing white weenie deck too. Like this card specifically.
Yeah.
You go in a regular white weenie deck. Just a 1-mana 2/3 is good.
Should we look over commons and uncommons, or that's kind of a lot?
No, I mean, we could do another show for that. So I think that's going to be the show for today.
Yep.
Remember, if you want to pick up any of these cards, please do so using our TCG Player affiliate link. It can be found in the show notes down below and on our website, mtgplace.net.
And remember, you can help support us at patreon.com. We would really appreciate that. We have different tiers if you want to have different involvements for different perks. And if you want to just talk to us, we have a Discord. Come hang out with us, chat with us about Magic.
Yeah, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to be notified of all our videos and podcasts when they're released, including the rest of the rares we're going to talk about in the next few episodes. And also, I will be doing early access on Wednesday, so expect some videos on YouTube for that, too. Thanks for listening. Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Peace.